Hey everybody, Brian here. Hopefully my camera can zoom in on it, right? Supposedly I have zero viewers. That's funny. Let's see. While I'm fluffing around on YouTube here, let's see if we have an audience. Okay. Anybody out there? Okay, so this is how we do it. Right here, I've got questions. If you got any questions or feedback, just email me at this address, quantlabsnet@gmail.com. That's how we communicate. It's not a two-way communication like GoToMeeting. So if you got questions, let me know. Hopefully people will be joining us. We're at 8 p.m. live right now. Oh, here we go. We got 2 people. Thanks for joining, Mr. One Viewer. All right. Like I'm saying, hopefully we've got here questions, comments, kudos, and what appears to be death threats. Just joking. But email me right now for anything you want at quantlabsnet@gmail.com. This is Brian here on camera. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully you can see me live. That's me. Let me just, I think I have a chat box as well, but it doesn't seem to work properly. I don't know. It's been type hello. See if anyone can respond to me there. But apparently I can share screens. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Can you guys see my screen? Give me a yes or no. Can you guys see my screen? Just email me here at quantlabsnet@gmail.com. We got 3 people aboard. Just so everybody knows, we're going to be talking about this new system. Well, it's not new for me, but I've had it for about 6 months now. At this point, I'm just using it for research. This thing I call the AK-47, which is really used for government data. It goes through 5 steps. Tonight's the first step. And what we use is we use government data, both from Europe and the US, to forecast sectors, what appears to be hot. Trading sectors, that is. Okay, so again, if you got questions or comments, just email me here at quantlabsnet@gmail.com. Okay. Okay, so hey Ron, how you doing? Thanks for responding and letting me know. I know you were one of the guys wanting to see this, so here we are. Okay, so tonight I didn't want to run the scripts. I mean, I've put up so many videos on YouTube on that, so you can watch the system run, just like you would on Twitch. You can watch my system run. I have a video on it, but I just wanted to really focus more on the reports that this first step generates, which is again government data for what sectors to use. So I'm going to show you 2 sources that you can use that from. And this system that I have is exactly what I'm showing you right now, but it's automated. So what you can do is if you come into, for Europe, the Economic and Financial Affairs, Eurostat it's called, or europa.eu, they track all the time series on Europe, and you can virtually get anything you want. Hang on here, let me just, I got like 2 screens going on at once, so I make sure I can see you guys. Okay, so again, sorry about that. All right, so it's kind of a weird experience to be talking to a camera and a screen, nobody there, nobody listening, but I know you're there, even though it may be a small group, a big group, I don't know. We're up to 4 people. Yeah, we were up to 9 people last week, so maybe we can get to 12 people next week, who knows. Anyways, like I was saying, if you come to this Europa.eu site, these guys, the bureaucrats in Brussels, do track a time series, set a time series for sectors within the European zone. Soon, obviously, maybe Greece might not be part of it, but as for now, we can talk Greece and show you the reports. So if you come in here, you can download this one right here. It's about 5K. And it's just basically Excel spreadsheets. So I'm going to show you that data. It's raw. Before anybody, I'm going to sound like a broken record player here, but for anybody who's new, you can always just email me during this session at quantlabsnet@gmail.com. Comments or concerns, just let me know. I got my Gmail open right now, and you know, we're all good. Okay, so going back to this. Let me just put this here. All right. So coming back to what I was just showing you. So if you download this set of a time series Excel files, you can feed them into a system like what I have with the system that I have. And then you can process them and have other automated processes to track what perceives to be hot sectors. And when I'm saying hot, I mean profitable, with profit potential over a month, 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year. Because all this data is forward looking. You're not focusing on past data. I sent out an email on this. I'm doing another course right now. I'm just revisiting it actually. He's doing the same thing. He looks at economic data and he segregates what's going on in real time, forward looking. He doesn't look at the past. He doesn't really care about the past. And this system works the same way, but it's using government data. So what kind of data can you get? Well, I have a series of scripts that I include as part of this package. I'll put it up for my membership. I'll talk about that later if you want. But I have this little folder here that it creates called ESI, which is the European Statistics, the European Sentiment Indicators. That's what ESI stands for. So basically what it'll do is it'll compile, download all the Excel spreadsheets that you can get from here, and then process them. And then what I do with MATLAB, and this is all generated by MATLAB, to download the Excel files and then create reports from them. So I'm going to show you some samples, show you how to interpret them, and how to move forward into the next phase, which I'll cover next week, and other reports, which basically I'm scanning different sectors from, let's say, Yahoo Finance, and then be able to generate and make more Excel spreadsheets to generate things like indicators, meaning market cap, earnings per share, forward outlook again, ATR, all that fun stuff. Okay, so let me show you some examples. So there's about 6 or 7. So I'm just going to randomly pick one Excel file that you can download from this source I just highlighted here. And again, this is all Excel. These are these are raw files you can download. So this is what they contain. So here you can basically get the raw data going back all the way to January 85 for each country in the European zone. So in this case, we have here the total of the zone. So it will track like a PMI or something else, and it'll measure and give you an indicator, a confidence indicator on that particular sector. So in this case, we're doing retail right here. Retail total, SA, I'm not sure what it stands for, NACE, I'm not sure what it stands for, but it's retail. So here it breaks it down by total, and then it will break it down by country right here. So basically, let me just think of some of the countries here. I'm just trying to think, because some of the countries are really bizarre codes. and you have to kind of interpret them. So this one right here is Czechoslovakia, I think. Not Czechoslovakia, I think it's CZ, which is maybe Slovakia. This one right here would be Denmark. So we have Denmark here. We have so on and so forth, and we have here Germany. Okay, and it just on and on it goes. But what I do is I visually plot these data points by country. Okay, and I'll show you that right now. Let me just go back to my advertisement here. For anybody just joined us, you can always, as I said, questions, hate mail, comments, kudos, death threats is a joke, quantlabs@gmail.com. I've got my, I already got one comment in. Everyone says they can see me. Thanks for that. So on I go. But I just want people to know you can email me right now on this stream at quantlabsnet@gmail.com. Cool. All right, so I'm showing you the spreadsheet right now that you can download from the site Euro stats here. Let me just right here, this one right here, the Economic and Financial Affairs. As I said, they maintain a time series of all the countries for different sectors. And if you need to know what we're talking about, we got services, consumers, retail, trade, construction, financial services, investment survey, blah, blah, blah. I don't use all of them, but you can download any of these at no cost. It's all free. It's cool. We got to automate this. And one big caveat I need people to be aware of is that these source links that you download these from basically change from every couple of months. So you will need to be aware of that today it may work, in 2-3 months from now it may not work, and that's because they just change it. So basically what my system will do is it'll just, as you can see, if I do a right click here, it will copy link address. So if I open up a new browser session, you can see right now it will download that file for me, the zip file. So that's basically what my script does, okay? And it does them here from all European states and all sectors, okay? So that's how Europe works. So let me show you the data source for the US. Right now I only track US and Europe. So Europe, I just showed you how to do it, and I'm gonna show you Fred. He's got a question come in. Hey Jeff, how you doing? Thanks from San Francisco. How you doing, man? Welcome, welcome everybody. Let me just see how many people. I get excited by the numbers. Hey, we have up to 7 people. Awesome. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay, so I just showed you how to download the data series, time series from the Euro Economic and Financial Affairs out of Brussels. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do it for the US. And I keep saying this is really critical, is that this is forward-looking, okay, not past data, okay? I've already mentioned that before. Watching the playback, it'll be up instantly once we finish this stream. Okay, so we're coming into the US. So now we're using Federal Reserve data on Fred, right here in the St. Louis Fed. They track various time series as well. In this case, we're looking at manufacturing PMI. Okay, so you can automate this process as well. You can download the Excel spreadsheet and download the data. You can do that in an automated way as well. My script takes care of that. And just so people know, I'm sure there's some burning questions. What's the code in? It's in MATLAB and in C#. Okay, I'm going to talk about some other areas that are opening up as of today. But for now, I'm using both this site, as I said, the Europa.eu and the Fred. Okay, St. Louis St. Louis Fed.org. Okay, so those are my 2 data sources. So we can automate these downloading of these files. It's really, really important. So I'm showing you some samples of how to download the Excel spreadsheets for Europe. So let me show you the ones for Fred. So I have another subfolder called Fred, and that's the federal data coming from the states. So again, we're downloading various types. We got housing starts, industrial services. We're tracking M2 money supply, and I'll show you all these reports in another separate spreadsheet. But you can see the system will go out and generate and gather all the files for you and put them in a folder for your convenience. So let me just pull one up. Let's look at the M2 money supply, and I'll show you what it looks like. Here, where I gotta tell you, I'm really digging Windows these days. It just never cooperates with me. Here, let me just pull up my Windows 8's driving me nuts. Okay, let me just pull this up with just a raw editor. Okay, so this is what this file, when you download it, looks like. Basically, it's going to give you a blurb, the notes, and then the actual numbers. So you can see, you can track it all the way from 1980. And this was run on Friday. So this will get you the most up-to-date info, which is, in this case, June 22nd, 2015. Okay, so that's what these files look like. Okay, and that's how my system will download it. And then it will compile it into a visual representation, into a general PDF. So I'm going to show you the European side. Let me just see if we have any questions here. No, so far no questions, no comments. Let me take a breather. Again, if you're new and you're just joining us, I don't know, it's not like on GoToMeeting. You just email me here, anything you want, at quantlabsnet@gmail.com. I'll answer them. I've already acknowledged two already. Thanks for that. And so far, still at 7 viewers. So we're at 8 viewers. So yeah, just email me at this if you have anything right now from what I've shown so far. So if you just joined me, I've shown you where the data source comes from. It's all free. It comes from the European, EU, right here, and that's for all of Europe. And for the US, we're downloading the FRED. Now, you could use the Chinese as well, but I'm sure you already know with China, the Chinese government's now trying to prop up the markets in Shanghai, because they've been tanking since 1929 or something, using that as the playbook. $2 trillion lost over the last, I think it's a couple of weeks or maybe a week. So I'm not really interested in playing China. It's too manipulated, but I do focus on Europe and US. Those are the most liquid markets on the planet. That's what I focus on. Let's see, anybody, no questions so far? Anybody, questions, anything? No, I can easily move on. All right, so I'm going to show you now the actual reports. So let me just jump into my Europe again. Let's see. Okay, so we're jumping back into Europe. Now, as I said, there's different sectors that my system will download. Okay, so Ron asks, can you expand the statement that this is forward-looking indicators of what? Okay, that's fair. Here's what I'm learning from the true profitable traders and the technicians. Right now, I'm learning about futures and options. I've talked about this course lots since January, since I've discovered it. I'm now trying to automate it. I'm just revisiting each little video, and what it stresses is that there's the world of fundamentalists and there's a world of technicians. Technical analysts will study the markets from the past, from past historical data, and they'll backtest it, blah, 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 blah. There's a camp known as the fundamentalists who are using things like economic data. So in my case, for this system, all the data I'm looking at is forward-looking, meaning I'm not using past data. I'm not really caring about what happened in the past. What I care about is the here the now, here and now, basically, and the future. So all these reports I'm referring to are forward-looking. It's like how these organizations, both let's say the European Commission believes how they feel about, let's say, Denmark for their retail. So they'll put a number out there on that country for that particular sector, and that's forward-looking. You'll actually see it in the report. I'm going to show you. And the Fed does it. When they set interest rates, those are forward-looking. When the University of Michigan sets their PMIs, that's always forward looking. This is how we feel where the economy will be in a month from now, because some of these reports are monthly, some can be weekly, just depends what you're looking for, but usually they're monthly. And they're really strong indicators that you can use to say, okay, this is where they feel this sector will be really good. And you can use that and say, oh, that's a trading opportunity right there. And I'll show you what I mean. So anybody else got any questions so far? I just want to make sure I'm not losing anybody here, because this is pretty simple stuff. Again, if you're new, just joined us, quantlabsnet@gmail.com. Just email me there. And what I'm going to show you now is the reports, the actual reports that I've been going on about. All right, so let's take a look at one. This is a consumer sentiment outlook. This is again for Europe. So this again is generated by those files I just showed you, the Excel files. But what my system will do is it'll condense them and put them in this fancy schmancy report. Now I need to set the record straight here. This is not a slick system. It's a very raw system, a quick and dirty system. The coding ain't pretty, but it gets the job done. And I have a database that runs in the background along with this. But in this step, this week, this demo I'm showing you is just the simplest, the very first step. And we have another step that will go in and gather all these charts, these outlook, these sectors that it think will be hot, meaning profitable, and it'll start to scan all those sectors that Yahoo Finance gives you access to, and then be able to determine what to do. And I'll show you that next week. So here's the report for Europe. So it's broken down by country, and it's done overall in a total. Now I've shown this before. So as I said, in the files I showed you, can see they've started since 1985. Now I purposely keep everything in one view. When I put this source code up, everybody will have access to the source code, and they can do whatever they want with the source code in terms of the charting. This is very raw, but I keep it this way because, as you can see, for in this case, consumer sentiment since 1985, you can see that there's definite, somewhat business cycles. You can see the peaks and the valleys here. You don't know how high these peaks and valleys go, nor can you can somewhat gauge on the timing of these peaks and troughs, but they're not exact, okay, as you can see. But this is purposely done so you can see the overview snapshot of when they started recording these time series. So in this case, is the Euro consumer, and then this report will be broken down by each country within the Eurozone. So we get Austria. Now, as you can see, it's taken a hit, appears to be coming back. Okay, so this is Austria, and then we get Belgium. Belgium's been in trouble because, well, if you look at it, you know that it's just dropping, and it's been dropping quite a bit. We get Denmark. Denmark seems to be a bit bouncing back. Same with Finland. It's bottomed, bouncing back. France on a slow grind down a little bit. Again, we have Germany. We have Greece, which is oddly enough, it has been on an upswing in the last few months, as you can see here. It dropped and it came back. So don't ask. This is what the European Commission is reporting. This is, again, consumer sentiment. So we can see Italy's dropped off. Netherlands is doing okay. Portugal looks like it's doing quite well. Spain's dropped off. Sweden's dropped off. UK has dropped off. Okay, so out of all these countries, the best one, if you ask me, just visually looks best is Portugal. Portugal looks good. But thankfully, at the end of this, the report, you can see I do set a long view and a short view. So the short view is obviously the Greek consumer, and it gives out that number. Sweden's not strong either. Actually, Sweden's not too bad, and the consumer is quite strong. But this is how I break out these reports by sector or category from the Euro the Euro Commission. Okay, so here's another one. We're looking at services. Same idea. I give you the total view of the Eurozone, Austria, so on and so forth. But maybe most people don't care, and all they care about is this little thing at the end. Italy, short, long, Sweden. So you can see maybe we've had Sweden for the last two reports saying it's strong, so maybe it says something about Sweden. All right, so that's how I work it with the Eurozone and how I break it down by category. So let me take some questions again, if you have any. Again, if you have any questions, just email me here at quantlabsnet@gmail.com. Let's see how many people we got. We got 7 people. We're up to 9 last week. So don't be shy if you got any questions. Just email me here again at quantlabsnet@gmail.com. I'll wait it out a little bit. Now, hopefully this is helpful because, as I said, I'm using this system for now for research, and I'm not live trading with it. It'd probably be a while, but what I can tell you, because this code is done in MATLAB, and as I move into futures and options collectively with this code and what I'm going to show you the next few weeks, this is pretty powerful stuff in my mind, because not only going to get this data for the sectors of what are potentially profitable, but also the futures and options is so critical in terms of seeing where the demand is. You can track VIX for volatility. You can track everything that's happening in the markets in the U.S. And if you have access to other question or other areas you have as well. Okay, so we got another question from Ryan. Okay, thanks, Ryan. How you doing? Where do you get the Canada data? And can you show me again the graph for the European website? Sure. Actually, I'll respond to you. What I'll do is, as I said earlier, I don't know when you joined me, but I did say I'm only focusing on the US and Europe. Reason being, I'm not doing Canada. Everything comes down to volume and liquidity. I've done a lot of tests for both Canada, Australia, individual countries within Europe. The markets are not big enough to really be worthwhile to play in or invest in or trade in. Reason being is when you have markets like the UK and the US alone, those are good enough markets to be part of. And they're transparent and they have the liquidity to get quick fills. With Canada, like I played with a lot of different sectors, including ETFs and mutual funds. It takes forever to get an order filled, and I just can't. Honestly, I can't operate that way. So hopefully, I'll answer that question. Now, again, Ryan, just so you know, you just come into here, Europa.eu, and you'll find it. Okay. Your best bet is just to do a Google search on this right here, time series. To find it, it's just real easy. Just do this, Europa. I don't know, Europa. Yeah, my keyboard's freezing. Yeah, sorry. Europa ESI downloads a good set of keywords you could use, and that will take you to exactly what I just showed you, download time series. And just as a trick, so people know, is you'll have EU member states. You've got to make sure you're downloading all of them, because you can download individual ones, but here you have the all surveys. You just download that one right there. Okay, and as I said earlier, this link can change if you're planning to automate it. Be forewarned on that. That will change. They don't announce it. If you try to download something in your script or your program issues an exception, it's probably why, because they changed the download source. And they've done that to me twice, I think, over the last 6 months. So it does change. All right. Anybody else got any questions? Yeah, Ryan, just let me just give. I'm going to respond to you, Ryan, with the link. Okay, I just sent you an email back, Ryan. Okay, so Ryan had another question. How often is the European stats published? As I've shown you, Ron or anyone else, these are published monthly. Okay. Some of the other reports for the U.S. is done weekly, like unemployment. That's weekly. I believe it's Thursdays or Fridays. Okay. So I'll show you that in a minute, actually. Okay. So we've done some samples with Europe. I'm showing you how to download the data. And now I'm going to show you the U.S. So we've talked about Fred, the Federal Reserve, how to download whatever report. So I'm going to take you into that Fred database, or sorry, a subfolder, or what do you want to call it. And we have different reports. Now, again, if you become a member of my stuff, I'm not going to spiel on about it, but you get the code that generates this, and you can run it how often you want. As I said, it's currently done in MATLAB, and it's done in .NET, C#. Okay, so let me show you the generic one for U.S. Economic Forward Outlook. Any other questions? Hopefully all your questions have been answered so far. Anybody else that may have some questions, let me pull it up. Just email me at quantlabsnet@gmail.com. So let me get into the fun stuff for the U.S. Now in the U.S., instead of me breaking out a separate report for retail or unemployment or whatever in separate PDFs, with the U.S., it's all consolidated in one report. So I'm going to show you everything in this one report. All right. So first we have the PMI. Okay, this is from the University of Michigan, but as I said, you can easily access it from the Fred. Also, if you're going to use Quandl, you can use Quandl as well, Quandl. They provide this data for free, but it's better to get it right from the horse's mouth. And as I said, the Fred has it, the Federal Reserve, the St. Louis one. So here we've downloaded the ISM PMI, which is for manufacturing. You can see, again, when I keep everything together, this is tracked since 1948. And you see, it's pretty cyclical. But once you hit, I'm going to assume that this point here is probably early 90s. But as they started offshoring, you can see the peaks are not as high as they were historically versus over the last 20, 30 years. All right. But you can see the drop off here in 2008. You can see it's been steadily climbing back. But it's probably going to hit its peak, or has hit its peak. But you can see it's kind of dropped down a bit, just due to the fact of conditions in Europe or China. Markets aren't demanding U.S. product. That's what it's probably safe to assume. Now, again, you can download the files, which I include. I think I showed you a couple samples here. In this case, I think, it's just a text file, but you can easily access the raw data files, which my script will download for you. But in this case, it's just visually building a chart for you so you can see how it is historically. So this is the PMI for manufacturing. We've got the unemployment rate. So it's kind of back to where it should be. Actually, it's not far from 1999. We have the durables. Now, the durables is important because it's hard manufacturing. These are real products that are being manufactured. So it is at a peak. Now, these are new goods, so these are probably going to be either consumed internally or for obviously export. Another important one is the money stock, money supply in the markets or for the U.S. economy. Consumable goods industry, this is important as well. You can see it's on a major upswing, and it's been on a major upswing since after 2008. So that looks good. But here's something that I found very odd. When you see the peaks and valleys, as I mentioned before, and it's pretty close to reaching peak. I mean, not a lot of people talk about this, but from an economic standpoint, statistically, you think that we're now very close to a top, which means we should start hitting into a bearish condition. And that's just from this one chart. That's why I love these charts, because it will show you just from a visual perspective on what's been happening in the markets. But just this information is very powerful just visually when you see these charts. So again, we're looking at consumer durable industries. it's still not as strong. Here it's fairly strong, but again, these are all consumer. This is a ratio of total inventories to product shipped from durable goods. So this is important because when you manufacture something, you need to track the inventory. Is that inventory actually being shipped, or is it being put into an inventory? So if it's being put into an inventory, that's no use. So you can see the inventory did rise here again in 08. Manufacturing shot up, so the economy tanked very, very fast. Demand probably dropped very quickly, so inventories rose. So I'm not sure what it means, but it seems to be pretty tight. And these are really important stats. So the unemployment rate we know about, it's coming back somewhat to normal. The production index is really important too, because overall it did dip, but it's back on a rise, which is good. Housing market. Now, this is really important because consumers aren't going to feel too good about their housing. And this is a confidence and how many people are actually buying new homes. So you can see it's coming back. But again, you can see statistically how things play out since 1959. And again, this is really important information. That's why I keep it the way it is. This is just a general overview. You want to look at the raw files, be my guest. You have access to that. Total inventories to shipment of durable good industries. Again, it's just been flatlining for the last little bit. Business services is important because this is a quality of employment. Professional business services is the ones that pay the most. Now, if this is going up, that means people are getting good quality jobs, which obviously percolates the consumer sentiment, percolates into both housing starts and as well as manufacturing. So this is an important stat as well. Industrial production, non-durable consumer goods. Now, this is another one. We have consumer, we have manufactured goods that are used from a wholesale perspective. For instance, U.S. Steel will turn around and process things like screws for auto manufacturers, things like that. So this is really important that you have industrial manufacturing and production is another key indicator, how strong the U.S. market is or the U.S. economy is. You can see it's not as strong as it used to be. The velocity of the pickup is not as strong as it could be or should be. And this is another area that people need to focus on. Again, you can see these drops sort of coming back, but again, we already talked about the PMI is somewhat dropping. Anyways, we talked about that. So these are good to get a general consensus of how things look in the U.S. economy. Non-durable goods. This could be part of your services. And that's pretty well it in terms of all the reports that I compile. So anybody have any questions so far on what I've just shown? I show both the U.S. and the Europe overview of the U.S. and European economies. And specifically for the European, you can break it right down by country as well within the Eurozone. Anybody got questions? I got quantlabsnet@gmail.com. Okay. Okay, well, I guess we're going to come to the end fairly soon on this presentation. This is, remember, phase 1. Let's talk about the code. Now, I don't want to come off as a pitch man here, but this code is going to be available in the next few days to all my members, and maybe you've never attended any of my stuff before. But hey, let me just show you, just in case you are ever interested. This is how I survive and thrive doing what I do. I have memberships now available. They've been around since the day I started, really. But if you come into anywhere on my website, at quantlabs.net, we have, I created a section here called Elite. And this is the membership I'm talking about. I just reduced the price. It's disgustingly cheap. I originally charged this much in the days up to last week, but I'm now charging this. It's a monthly thing. So you get access to this code I'm just showing you, to the system, as well as a whole slew of other stuff. I got courses, and I could go on and on about it. And just come to this link here, or just come to my website, quantlabs.net elite. So when I'm saying this source code is going to be available to my members, that's what I'm referring to. All right. So going back to all of that fun stuff, where do we go from here? All right. So I've talked about how to grab data from government sources. Obviously, the European stat or European Commission here, and the FRED. So that's great. We've got that set up. We've got them in charts. And at the end of each chart, specifically the European one, let me just get to that again. Where do we go from here? So this is going to be presented next week. Let me just pull up one of these random ones. So in this case, consumer, I just sent out or just showed you. This is very important, these views, because what we're looking for is the weak player in the market and the strong player in the market. What this means, if we're looking for an arbitrage opportunity for pair trading, maybe we could do it by sector or country within the Eurozone. Now remember, the nice thing about the Euro, it's one currency, so you can treat it as one region. You don't have to worry about conversion of currency, which is a real big cost doing business, right? We know that. So if you were to focus on, let's say, consumer sectors, we know it's fairly weak, but actually I shouldn't say that, but it's somewhat a little tepid, but strong in Sweden. So maybe if we look for consumer-related stocks in the Swedish market, and then have those as a pair trading opportunity against for the short, against a consumer sector within Greece. Just an idea. Same thing you can take with US. From my perspective, as I said before, I played with all these markets. I've looked at and scanned all the different sectors. And the stock selection that you can download from any of these countries is very weak. I have a set of criteria that I use to say, is this stock or this equity worth investing into? And a lot of times is not. So I'm using market cap, EPS guidance, earnings pricing per share, some stats, some ATR, average true range, stuff like that, and also beta as well. In terms of performance, to say, is this stock worth investing into? Because to me, liquidity, volume is very important. All right. And I just don't want to get stuck in bad trades. So those are very important sectors. Now, I said with Europe, what I'm finding is that any of the countries have very small markets to play in, even Germany. So my focus, this is very helpful for certain people. That's why I wrote this. Originally, I thought it would be helpful for myself, but it may be helpful for other people. So at this point, it's great to know that Sweden's a strong consumer, will have a strong consumer market, but from an automated standpoint, I'm only caring about, as I said, the UK and the US markets, because they have enough stock selection for me to pick out of, to automate trades with, and do some really funky and cool stuff with. So those are the only two markets or countries I'm going to focus on, is US and UK, specifically US because it's so big. And that's my logic there. Anybody have any questions on that? Because that is quite a mouthful. Hang on here. Comments? Oh, Ron's just asked the question before I continue. If you got any questions, quantlabsnet@gmail.com is where you can email me. Okay, so Ron says the U.S. seems to report only until 2014, correct, or why? I wish we had two-way communication. I'm going to pull up a random. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, maybe this is what you're referring to. This is correct, but with the charting and the way MATLAB charts, it's only marked it up to 2014, but it's still using the actual data as I showed you here. So what would this be? This is, again, M2 money stock. Let me pull that up. Go to the US here, hang on. Fred. So I'll pull up the US M2 money raw file that we can download. So This is where it's charting from, Ron, just so you know. But it is including everything, including all the way up to, as I said, June 22nd, 2015. It's just the way the charting is on MATLAB, because when you mark it, it's only going to mark it to a certain point. Again, I did this quick and dirty way. I could go pretty fancy schmancy on these charts, but all I care about is just the rough trends that I'm looking for. As I said about the cyclical, since 1992, since 1967, these are important to me. So the most recent won't be pretty in terms of detail, but if I really want that info, I have the raw data, so I can create better charts and whatever my platform will be. In my case, again, I'm using MATLAB. So that is why that is that. Okay, Ryan asked about, can you tell me more how you automate your trading with RBC trading account? Ryan, people just may or may not know, I am somewhat trading now with RBC direct investing. You can't trade automatically with RBC. Everything's done manually by human, discretionary, and I don't suggest really trading anymore that way. Since I've been with this account for the last couple of months, it just shows me how critical it is to have software to track your P&L, all your trades. This stuff, I don't know how retail traders do it. I could never see myself. So you cannot automate. There's no APIs with RBC. There's none. That is why I'm putting more and more emphasis on moving part of my portfolio, moving it into interactive brokers for real automated trading. I'm hoping that you've seen my YouTube videos with Ivan, myself. We've gone through a lot of interactive brokers, the TWS software, the Traders Workstation software. So I've done a lot of demos on that, and I'm planning to move everything into TWS and interactive brokers and do true automated trading. I just want to go slow so I don't accidentally blow up my account, So I'm putting in very small bets because I'm not doing what a typical retail trader would do, is like, oh, I'm going to go full crazy on my portfolio and make wild bets and blow it out the account within, who knows, in a short order. I've seen that lots of times. I'm the opposite. I'm going to go very conservative when I go automated with interactive brokers. But again, you cannot trade RBC Direct. It's just a traditional broker for humans and humans only. And the interface is very primitive, very, very primitive. I'm only with them for great customers. Their customer service is quite good. All right, anybody else got any questions? As I was saying regarding the next step, so we have this data. So what I'm planning to do is I have, if you look at Yahoo Finance, there's about 250 market sectors to play in. That's a lot. And that's just the US. So I have a data source in my database. I haven't really talked about my database, but that would be like, ooh. If you want, I can show you the database, which will lead into the next set of weeks, because I use the database very. It's a crucial part of this whole system. Like I was saying, there's 250 sectors to play in. So what this does is, let's say if I think it was manufacturing we thought looked good. Well, you can play in the manufacturing field. Now, you can use ETFs for this. You can use mutual funds, indices, and stocks, pairs for that. And that's the very powerful part about it, is that you can use that. And then I have, for next week, I'll do some demos where you can scan these sectors and be able to generate Excel files for where you can grab all the statistics and metrics that I use, as I said: earnings, price per share, market cap, beta, and all some generic statistics. And you can generate, and you can see where your long will be and where your short will be if you want to play the pair trading game. And if you want to just use it, as I said, for research for like guys like myself and maybe Ron, where we just want to play ETFs, yeah, you could use the same system for that as well. And I have some scripts that will scan the ETFs as well. Jeff says, good stuff, Brian. Thanks, man. Thanks, Jeff. Just so everybody knows, this has been in development for about 4 months. Now I'm finally debuting it. I'm going to put up the source code. It's not my best programming. This is quick and dirty stuff, but it's just purely used for research and signal generation. But there will be a component of it later on where you can automate it. It will maintain a watch list. It will maintain your position when you put it on, and it will also generate a soft stop loss, and it'll watch that position, and it'll figure out when to take off the position, and then you do your P&L, all that fun stuff, as well as it also, there's a script using Kelly Criterion that will keep your portfolio in a profitable position, so that when you use your winning and loss ratio, the system will manage your portfolio for you, your money management basically. So if you have more wins, it'll allocate more capital. If you're losing, it will take away capital. It's just a way to preserve your portfolio in the long run, and that's also automated. So there's a lot of stuff considered here, but over the next couple of weeks, I'll show it for each step. But tonight's just the very first step of the system. But thanks, Jeff. Anybody else got any comments or questions? Let me just show you quantlabsnet@gmail.com. And just so anybody watching my playback here, I'm only going to respond to those questions just during these YouTube Hangout, Google Hangout things, because Google Hangout seems to work really well. Okay, so we're coming up to an hour. Let me just see how many people we have. I think we're 6 people. I lost one person. I don't know. 6 people is pretty exciting. But my last Google Hangout video got almost 100 people within 24 hours. I was blown away by it. So this is the first demo tonight of the system. Now I'm going to put up the source code in coming days, and I'm kind of trying to hold back because there's a lot of cleaning up. It throws out a lot of exceptions, and I'm trying to kind of clean that up. But this is what it generates, and the general thought of how you can use this government data for forward economic outlook, which is great. And this can be applied to any market. I'm hopefully going to be wanting to play futures and options. This kind of information is very powerful when you want to play even futures and options. There's just so many ways you can slice this kind of information, especially that it's automated. Let's see if there's any other questions or concerns. No. Anybody have any questions or concerns? Because I'm pretty well done for tonight when I'm showing you. If you have comments, let me know at quantlabsnet@gmail. I appreciate everybody so far, Ryan, Ron, and Jeff, for asking them. If anyone else, don't be shy, because that's what we're here for. Just email me right now. Otherwise, I knew this was going to be a short a demo, but as I said, I'm going to put up the source code to my membership. So again, I'll just say this one more time. I know I'm not here to, I don't want to flog a dead horse here. But let me just see. Let me just pull up my browser here. Okay, so showing you the sources. I'll just do this one last time. If you are interested, just come in anywhere on my website, quantlabs.net, and then just come under Elite. And that's the membership I'm talking about, and you will get the source code, all that, for this monthly price. Cheap. All right, so anybody else got any questions or concerns? Anybody at all? You? Maybe? Anybody? Okay, if not, we can give her a wrap. Like I said, I appreciate everybody coming out. Even if you're on for half a second, I appreciate you coming on regardless. And let me just see how we're doing. Hang on. Yeah, so we're still the same amount of people. Appreciate it. Cool. Once I stop this broadcast, this will be put up on YouTube on my channel. You can watch the video playback. All right, so I'll do a going once, twice, 3 times. If I don't get any questions at where's my little guy here? quantlabsnet@gmail.com. If you've got comments or questions, I wish we could do an open question here, but the YouTube Hangout's kind of limited in this way. Oh, Ryan's got a question for. Yes, Ryan asked the question: can you do TSFA on TWS? Yes, you can. This is for interactive brokers. I think I just learned this 2-3 weeks ago. Even in the States, you can apply this. Actually, if you are Renaissance Technology, you can make a lot of money and live a tax-free life. And let me show you how. I'm not saying that here, TWS, TSFA. Okay, for those that don't know, in US or anywhere else, TSFA is our savings account, kind of like an IRA Roth, but this is us for Canada. So you can do the same thing, same laws apply in the US. Now, the TSFA, you can do all your trading in interactive brokers or any broker. Thing is, they started these in 2009. Since 2009 to now, if you've never opened a TSFA account and you never tapped the maximum per year, going back 5 years, let's say, this is powerful information I'm going to give you. If you've never touched a TSFA, and you can go as far back as 2009, 5 years times 5. No, actually, I can't remember, but it's about, for each year that you've not put money into your TSFA, you can put into this account, and you can seed an account. So let's say you can go back 5 years times $5,000. Never did a TSFA before. You can seed an account with any broker and interactive brokers as well for $30,000. So that means you can seed it, open up a trading account, and you can do all your trading within the TSFA tax-free. Okay, it gets better. Not only can you do it tax-free, but if you go to, in our case, same with the IRS, I can't confirm, I'm not a legal lawyer or a tax lawyer, but I can confirm within Canada, the CRA will allow you to withdraw out of your TSFA tax-free. So if you got an account of $30,000 in a trading account and you do really well with it, you double your money in a year, you've now made $30,000. If you want, you could withdraw that account tax-free. So you can essentially live tax-free. That's how these guys at Rentech, Renaissance Technologies, are doing it. You're an employee of Rentech, at Renaissance Technologies, you open an IRA account, you feed your account or your trading account into Rentech, because I mean it's private, and people are becoming millionaires in their IRA Roths. And this just went up on Bloomberg a few weeks ago, and I don't know how long this will last, but this is a nice perk if you want to do either the IRA Roth or a TSFA to live and trade tax-free. I kind of like it. So yes, Ryan, you can trade or have a TSFA with interactive brokers. All right, anybody else got any questions or concerns? If not, I'll give you guys some more opportunity. We're going to do the next step, scanning the sectors, using this government data I just showed you, on knowing where to play to get your potential short and long, or if you want to play ETFs, your strong ETF out of that sector. I'm going to show you how to do that next week. Next Monday, 8 p.m. I might actually roll it back to 7 p.m. I'm not sure, but let me know via Meetup. A lot of people like the 8 p.m. time. But again, last chance, quantlabs@gmail.com for questions, concerns, comments. Let me know if you got any for tonight. And I'll be doing the same thing next week for the next step for the sectors on how to get your long and short. Anybody at all got questions or concerns, just email me at quantlabsnet@gmail.com. No, maybe I'll do it going once, going twice, going 3 times and maybe. Okay, so again, thanks for being part of this. I'll put this up on my YouTube meetup and all that fun stuff. And this is about an hour long, I think, maybe an hour long. But please join me if you want to see the next step. I'm going to do it Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Who knows? Maybe have a bigger audience. But if you want to see the system run, just look up AK-47 on my YouTube channel. You'll see the thing run. It takes about half an hour. Do you really want to watch me live do that? I just rather focus on the reports that it generates and what to do with them. All right, so it doesn't look like we have any questions or concerns any further at quantlabsnet@gmail.com. If not, have a good night, and thanks for coming out. I wish you have a good and safe trading week, because it's going to get hairy. It's been hairy. I pulled everything out last week because of the Greek default, and I'm glad I'm out. But if you're still trading, may the force be with you. Last chance. Nope. Nobody emailed. Again, thanks again for being part of this, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night, and like I said, keep your eyes on the same link for this YouTube. It'll be a playback pretty well instantly. Other than that, hopefully I'll see you on Monday. Have a good night. Later.